worthy role model is someone right next door, the local hero. You talk about, in your book, about the local hero. What do you mean by the local hero?
Well, the local hero, to me, is somebody that sees a need in his or her own community and goes out and fulfills it and works on a local setting, does not have the national visibility that a celebrity might. Some local heroes become visible and national, but that's not their original purpose.
Like Curtis SLIWA, for
Curtis
instance.
is a prime example of what I would consider a local hero, who in his case became nationally known.
If there was ever a place in need of a hero, it's the city of New York. It is fitting, then, that this was the birthplace of an organization known as the Guardian Angels. Certainly heroic, though somewhat controversial, the Guardian Angels voluntarily serve as a sort of adjunct police force. The Angels place themselves between the criminal and his victim, sometimes at the cost of their own lives. Founded in 1979, the Guardian Angels were mobilized by this man, Curtis SLIWA, a street-savvy visionary determined to combat the seemingly endless wave of urban crime.
It's a dangerous thing, but in a lot of the neighborhoods that we come from, they've already taken the streets. We live behind bars on our windows, multiple locks on the doors. They've already robbed us of our dignity and freedom, so we don't feel that this is very much of a risk, because just walking around minding your own business is risky enough nowadays.
To get a real picture of the difference the Guardian Angels can make in a community, one only needs to visit their headquarters near Times Square. Nicknamed Fort Apache, this angel outpost was literally wrestled from the drug dealers who menaced the theater district. This is, this thing here. What is this?
Well, this is where the drug dealing operation used to take place. This is actually a grocery store, a crack store, because all the junkies did was come and they put their money in here. They could buy their crack pipes, crack in their vials. You could ask for black top, red top, gold top, your variety. You had
Grands?
Oh, sure. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There used to be lines here, not for off-Broadway and Broadway productions. We're talking for drugs, dope. And it affected business, community. Kids wouldn't venture around here. Businesses were closing. People were getting mugged and beaten left and right. And that's when we were called in. Not as a first choice, but as the community was in complete desperation, they said, let's bring in the Guardian Angel.
All right, tell me about the telephones over here. You got phones.
Well, these phones here are like the outdoor office of the drug dealers.
The episode involving these payphones is a classic example of how the Guardian Angels have created controversy, drawn criticism, and achieved results. Months ago, these very phones were being used as the prime contact point for crack merchants.
10 minutes, okay.
And then they drive up.
Like Domino's Pizza.
When the phone company put up a bureaucratic blockade instead of finding a workable solution, the Guardian Angels made them an offer they couldn't refuse.
So we told them, you know what? We're going to cut the wires. We're going to render the phone inoperable. We're not going to take the money. We're not going to dampen. We're going to cut the wires until you make it so that these payphones can't receive calls.
But that's illegal.
Oh, illegal, but it got their attention.
Interrupted service, courtesy of the Guardian Angels.
Well, just think all those drug dealers that couldn't be punching quarters in anymore. I mean, that's really what these payphones were. But normal, decent people couldn't use these phones either. I mean, sometimes you had guys who literally would keep people off of the phone so that calls could come in. So that if you come in, hey buddy, not this phone. You value your life. So that's what these payphones became.
All right, so what did you guys do? You cut the wires and so forth. But, I mean, you know, now we're looking over here, and the line that's to this window is no longer drugs. We've got a bunch of angels standing here.
Oh, yeah. It's like day and night. What was a beehive of drug dealing and criminal activity, now it's like Little House on the Prairie.
Though Curtis SLIWA and his Guardian Angels were initially labeled paramilitary vigilantes, their image with the general public is more in keeping with their heavenly namesake. I mean, what is it they do? I mean, don't you think there may be a bunch of vigilantes?
They stop people from harming older people. like ladies, you know,
Yeah.
females that's be riding the trains late from home from work, you know, things
I
like
see
that.
them more than I see cops, because, you know, they be on the train. Every time I get off the train, I always bump into a guardian angel. Not always, but as I get off the train, I see one walks past.
They watch out for you, you know, like a guardian angel.
A person committing a crime, they think twice before they do anything because the guys are there.
You know, we seen them up in our neighborhood. We live up in the Bronx. They were escorting some ladies home. All that. You know, it's very, you know, when you see something like that, you know, that's very nice.
So they're acting like angels.
Guardian angel.
More or less, yeah, I guess you could put it that way.
How many of these kids are the way they are because perhaps their number one hero should be the parent, and the parent themselves have abdicated their role in raising the child?
Well, there's no question that most of the guardian angels are from broken homes. They don't have extended families. The infrastructure is fractured. And they don't have the parents to look up to as the role models. So they have to seek subordinate role models. And in this case, it's other guardian angels, others who look just like them, talk just like them, come from the same backgrounds, but are doing the right thing.
Are you seen as a parent model to some of these guys?
Oh, no question about it, particularly for the young males who lack the positive male role models. And not only that, but myself and other leaders in the Guardian Angels seek the leadership. We want to be the role models. We're not like the Lawrence Taylors or the Dwight Goodens, the superstars in sports or theater who say, hey, don't look at me as a role model. I never asked to be a role model. We were designed to become real-life, walking, talking, positive role models, almost like billboards walking about. And we accept all that goes along with that. We want it, we desire it, but we also know that society needs it.
So Curtis SLIWA was and is a role model for you?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Why?
Well, because, you know, a guy from Brooklyn just goes into the Bronx and starts a group, 13 guys, and creates, you know, now we number over 5,000. I mean, that's a role model. He's going out there and fighting back.
Sacrifice is a lot of what you do, isn't it? I mean, you really do have to sacrifice a lot of the nice amenities and pleasures of everyday life. You say you're on call 24 hours a day. Is that an important characteristic of someone who leads, to be sacrificial?
Well, more so than ever before, the role model effect of the leader is going to transcend into the membership. They have a moral responsibility to live everything and anything that they prescribe other people to do. And it shouldn't be that tough, because everyone else who's out there, you know, leading a decadent life, certainly you can see years later where they've said, gee, it just wasn't worth it. I wish I had something of substance to look back and say, gee, I made a difference.
Does spirituality have anything to do with what you do?
Oh, there's no question. You have to have a lot of faith. You have to believe that there are other positive forces in the world, that more people will do positive things if given that opportunity.